Okay, this is the next project. I think this is a 1957 18 horsepower Johnson outboard. Again, I know nothing about it except that it turns over. The guy I got it from, he said it belonged to his uncle, and then he got it when he was a teenager, and then he was sad to let it go, and that's about it. So that's about all the introduction we got for this. It's got no prop, I can see that. It goes in and out of gear. I made sure it did that when I was turning it. It has no recoil, so I had to turn it by hand, but that's all we know. So let's get into this guy right now. Okay, as per, we'll start by removing the cowling. Okay. This is what I did. I checked that it turned, which it does, and it goes in and out of gear. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh man. I think this engine's been tenanted before we came along here. Cowling looks in good shape though. I like that old cowling. Ah, yuck. Okay, do we want to see me deal with this? Some rat gonna come out and get me? All right, I got a garbage can. If you guys are like immunodeficient, I'd pause now so you don't, or fast forward through this so you don't get hantavirus. Well, it doesn't look like anything got in the airbox because it's kind of, I don't want to call it a sealed unit, but it's pretty well protected. Nothing's bitten me yet, so that's good. Hardly call that clean, but okay, so the shift lever has been replaced and it turns begrudgingly. Yeah, it makes the full throttle, so that's good. I mentioned before this turns. I don't see any rope in there, so that recoil will have to come off. Obviously, I'll have to look at the coils. We have all the hardware, which is nice. So this is interesting. Maybe some. This head's been off, which is underwhelming. Let's take a look. Sixteenths, get it out of here. No. Great, the head's off, and I think I got a head gasket I can replace, but my concern is how do we get those bottom two bolts on? Does that mean the power head's got to come off? Is that where we're at? We're 2 minutes into this and we're already that far into it. So my fear is they're on so loosely. Hopefully they just didn't look at the, just take a look in there and then loosely bolt it back on and call her a day. Looks fine. Head looks okay. I think the head gasket looks okay. Or maybe not. And the bores. Top one looks fine. A little bit of like surface rust, but it doesn't. But that looks all right. And the bottom one. Oh, the bottom one looks fine too. I'll give you guys a look. So there's our bottom one. And here's the top. It doesn't look, it looks okay. So our boards look okay. Hopefully it's got compression to match it, but we'll see. So yeah, the camera says 7 minutes in and we're this far into the engine already. So do I need, wouldn't that be nice if some of the bolts were short for the bottom there? Is that what we're looking at? Not any of them short. There's that power head coming off. No, they're all the same size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can put this back on without having to take off the head. That's what I'm going to try and do. Maybe if I put these bolts on first. I was concerned about the two bottom ones. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is, oh, upside down. Come on, man. So there you go, you put the bolts on first, the head's going back on. Obviously I gotta clean all this up. But yeah, that is gonna happen. All right, so I guess you get to watch me clean up these surfaces and prepare them to get the head on. I can't claim to know what this stuff is on it. Some kind of corrosion or whatever. So I'm just taking it all flat side of an old shop knife and scraping this crap off. Because we're all about the mating surfaces. Okay, that is cleanish. This is coming off before I just totally ruin it. I gotta say though, I like the look and feel of these old ones. If this thing has good compression, that'll be amazing. Always happy to bring these old guys back to life, you know? So it looks like someone's been on there on these cylinders with, I don't know, someone's tried to clean them with something. Maybe the rat got at them that was in here, that lived in here, because I see lots of scrapes and scuffs on that. That one. And that one. But it seems okay. My guess is they took the head off for whatever reason. And they probably couldn't get it back on. They probably just gave up after putting on the top bolts and then couldn't get the other ones in, so that was it. Which is understandable. You don't always have time to fiddle around with an old outboard. This head gasket's got a little bump in there. I'm just gonna flatten that out with the hammer. The old ball peen. I didn't see nothing. I don't know if it needs a new head gasket. What are they like? Up here in the Great North, they're about, I think, $30 or something like that. They're not too bad. So we're just cleaning this up. Yeah. Okay. Good as new, eh? There's a bit between. Yeah. Got some more of that in between. I gotta be careful here. And I'm gonna put some RTV there as well. I think this is like a weak spot. Yeah, there's probably water flowing through there or something. So clean that up. A little bit of RTV. And then bang, head gasket. Okay, I gotta figure out what I gotta torque these bolts down to, but and find my RTV. But I will return. Okay, so 96 to 120 inch-pounds for the head bolts. So I imagine I walk up to that. I cleaned up the other. I cleaned up the head proper, so you didn't need to see that. It was just more of the exactly the same what I did there. I got my RTV stuff. We're gonna put that on a head gasket. I just got this red. I'm gonna put a thin film of it on there. If I need it, great. If I don't, it won't hurt anyone. So I'm gonna put it on both sides. You can watch me do that. And we're off. So we're talking thin film around the mating surface, and this will just seal up any inconsistencies. This probably isn't even necessary, and if it's not, someone's going to chime in to tell me that, but whatever. I really don't think it'll hurt. I can just tell that the original reason, it seems, that was taken apart was a head gasket because of all the, just the way the water deposits have accumulated on the engine. So if this will keep any more head gasket issues at bay, happy to get my fingers dirty. This is the high heat stuff. Don't know if any temperature setting is really necessary, but this is what I got, so this is what I'm using. All right. That was nice. Oh yeah, that was a kick. I always get a kick out of it when, you know, something neglected and old and without hope roars back to life. There's just a lesson to all the kids out there. Not everything's just hopeless because it's old. Potentially lots of fun to still be had with this guy. a lot of money to be saved too. That's how I just got into this. I want to just get into engines on the cheap. My dad was a diesel mechanic, so he could help me. And you just get a bit more fearless as you go on with this stuff. And honestly, it's not that expensive, so like the risk reward is pretty good. So what I'm going to do I'm just running all these bolts down right now, and then once they're tightish, I'm going to torque them to spec, starting in the center and working its way out. Regrettably, it's a box end for these ones. And I'm going to have to probably go off feel when I tighten the heads down. But once you get a feel for it, that's good. That is nice. We'll start at what? 60? Okay. Come on, guys. Where are we on that one? Come on. Quick, 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 quick. And those ones are good. Okay, up to 120. Click. Okay. There, our head gasket's on. Let's I guess see what our recoil looks like. Gotta say, I don't know if this is factory, but I'm loving the Robertson screws. If these are original, it's probably built in Peterborough, Ontario, where OMC Canada had its factory, and where a ton of outboards from Canada came from. A little bit of trivia for you. Right. But I think the rope's really short. Oh yeah. There's our recoil rope. So I gotta find a rope. Okay, so I got this threaded through. You didn't really need to see it. It was just me, mostly me just swearing. Yes, but here we are. We're just doing this quick and dirty just to, I'll change the rope when I get a longer rope. My rope's really short, so I'm going to make this a bit short, but yeah, I don't think that'll go anywhere. So like that, and then we tuck that in there. And then hopefully, when we release the clamp, it will want to recoil. Of course not. All right, let's get to work on this thing. Saw it move. All right, it's coming apart. But not too much if we can help it, because I hate winding these things back up. But if we must, then we must, right? Yeah, all right. This sucks. I'm not gonna lie. That's not too bad. I'm being dramatic. So I have seen better springs in my day. I think that explains why this one is so struggling to recoil. Maybe we can actually do this without. Trying to do this while keeping it all kind of in the contraption there. Okay, that looks okay. So here we go. There's this bit. It goes in there. You can't see it. This has to be done not off camera, but okay. I think that was the hard part. All right, already we're looking better. So probably tighten this guy down. Yeah, that'll work now. Okay, time for the fun part. I think that'll work for our length of recoil. And we're clamping. Okay, I found a suitable cord. Okay, so here we go. I should melt it, but the lighter on my torch isn't working. I quit smoking, so I can't find anything to light anything with. But it's making its way. All right. Okay, no knots. And then when I release the clamp, hopefully we're recoiling. All right, let's put this guy back. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. This recoil will recoil as designed. Back to the engine. Now we all know that this is probably going to come right back off when we check when it has no spark. We got to see what's wrong with it. But at least our recoil works, right? I guess we'll check compression. Is that the dealio? I think so. Top cylinder. Yes. Yeah. 120. Wonderful. Okay, put the handle that came with this cord on instead of the Johnson one. Maybe it's better suited for that. Okay, that's 120 in the bottom too. So if we get a spark, this guy is gonna run. Now that's the question, do we have spark? I bet we can find out. I saw something. Yeah, that's sparking. Cool. Still doesn't absolve me from wanting to go in there, but pretty awesome. Yeah. Okay, that sparks too. I'm thinking gas in the cylinders and see if it wants to run. Okay, we got two working plugs. Now we're gonna push some gas into the cylinders and see what we get. Some through here. Some for there. Yeah, looks good. Hold on to your butts. Okay, one more time. Probably hasn't coughed like that for a while. Right. There's probably ignition problems, which I'll get into. Yeah, we'll get at it again tomorrow. Okay, we tried to get it going. It does have spark, but I'm suspecting some ignition problems. So we're going to take off the flywheel, see what the coils look like. I do have 2 new coils for this, so hopefully we won't have to use them, but we can always hope, right? These things have lived. What are you thinking? A bunch of smashed points? So one guy commented, he said the coils like going from, what was it? I think he said 1963 or 4 and up. They changed the lamination on them so they don't get all smashed like in my videos for, that looks pretty good. For those 2 Vikings there, because those ones are just torn up. I'm going to take out the flywheel so we can see what we're doing here. Yeah, that's a flywheel, all right. It looks like in good shape. Always good to see. Not a lot of oil on that. So there you go, flywheel. How you doing? Oh yeah, those are OEMs. That's nice to see. The shear Woodruff key is still happening. It still was sparking, so let's just see how the gaps look, I guess. 10, 4, and 6 equals 20. So this should be, that's pretty tight. I say it was big, I meant it looked really small. Yeah, that's tight. So we'll open that one up. We got a screw here. This screw here. We crack that just to loosen them up, and then we get them to the right size. Can I do this with one hand? No. Got this wire in the way. I'm kind of scared of hitting it. Use a smaller screwdriver. One of those guys, eh? That didn't turn. Looks like our previous owner was using his strong hand when he tightened these down. Okay, let's try this. There we go. So that's loosened. There. So now that that's loosened off, that gives us room, or gives us play rather, to move the points in and out like that. So we're going for 20 G's. Okay, that'll work. I'm gonna go back on that screw I originally opened. Tighten it down. Then you always check it again in case tightening that screw down messed with your gap. And that's good. Just a little bit of drag. That's what you're after. There. First one set. Number 2. How's that? That one's a little big, but it's still pretty close. Okay. Actually, no, that one's bang on. So I'm going to clean these points. And we'll try that. So I don't have sandpaper. Well, I do have sandpaper. I'm not going to use sandpaper. I think I'm going to use this contact cleaner and paper. Those ones weren't bad. They look pretty good. I'm just doing the same to this side. Okay, now we'll check for spark. So this is the bottom. That looks good. What we have now is potential for a better potential, we'll say, for ignition. that sounded pretty good. I guess next we change some fuel lines, clean some carburetors, inspect some lower units, and be prepared to put some money into this guy. Cool. I'll do all that tomorrow. Okay, so next we're going to take off the carburetor, so let's do that. Start with the controls, they gotta come off. One seems to be under spring tension of some sort. So the high and low speed screws, they're the same. Yeah. Not the needles, but the screws that attach the hardware or the controls or whatever. Good to know. Oh, I better heat up the ultrasonic there. I'm taking this off just to make it clean up a bit better. I came off without much hassle. Those front plates are key. Okay, I guess it's just getting these airbox bolts, what have you. I'm thinking 7/16. Is it ever not? No, it's never not. And airbox. And thankfully there's no little treats in there. Okay, next, we'll get this out. So linkage next. It's just a wire. That guy right there. It's not stainless. And the linkage comes out. And now we can get these bolts here. So we got a nut here, and then one on the other side. You gotta pull back the choke so you can get access to it. I think they're 1/2 inch. Yeah, 1/2 inch. And then as this comes out, you have to pull the body of the carb back. Here's the other side. This one right here. And it's more the same. So that's both of those out. We're going to cut that line. Like this. And we have our card. We'll bring it over to the bench. We'll take it apart and throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner. Okay, here we go. I guess we'll get these needles out first. Should be 7/16, which it is. That needle looks okay. This one should be more the same. Yeah, that's a high-speed needle, all right. Okay, and now take off this hose clamp. if it chooses to come off. Hose clamp. Ooh, the hose came off with it too. How do you like that? We're just winning all day long. Okay, hose clamp. Bowl drain here. Or maybe it's not a bowl drain, it's like just a plug. I'm gonna leave the choke altogether. Has a nice resounding snap to it. Okay, and then the bowl's coming off. 4 screws. 5 screws. Let's forget about this one. That looks pretty good. Oh, I think this has a carb kit in it. Okay. Okay. Still gonna clean it. Clean. Their needle that has the tip on it. Don't want to lose that. Don't want to lose that. Okay, cool. It looks like it has an OEM kit on it. That's nice. So here's our main jet. And that's clear. Here's our seat. Gotta be careful that you make sure you get good purchase with your screwdriver. Let me take this guy out. Don't lose the nylon bit. And is there anything else? There is. That come out. Not much to be said for packing in there. Or in here. Okay. Cool. It looks like this has just been, well, cleaned. So I guess the guy, aside from letting it sit while he was using it, it looks like at least kind of taken care of. So it's good. Okay, let's see how this does while it hangs out in the... So yeah, this kettle came out of the ultrasonic. We got our brake cleaner and a rag, and we're gonna put this back together. So the float floated, so happy with the performance of our float. I'm gonna go spray some jets out here. So these 3 holes in the body there. I don't know if you can see them. There they are. You can barely see them. Those are a low speed circuit, so I want to clear those out using carb cleaner for that. I'm gonna hit it from the other angle. So you already got some guck out of there. Okay. Here's our fuel inlet. It's bubbling up through the needle and seat. It's the overflow. I think that's it. Let that dry off. This one, there's not much to this. You got your high-speed needle. A bit of gut came out of there. Got your low speed circuit. I'll just see some. I think this is a blind hole here, but there's something in there. Ugh. Gross. Then you got your fuel inlet. Let that dry off. Our jets. This is the needle seat. Here's our low speed. Low speed? No, this is a high speed. Gland, they call it. Here's our main jet. Just want to make sure those holes are clear. They're pretty big, so they're not hard to clear out. I don't even remember. This might be the low speed. I think that's the high speed, and that's low. It all goes back together. We'll see. That's pretty much it. Now it can all go back together. I like to use a Q-tip for this. Just to clean out anything that might still be in there. Kind of polish it a bit. And we're ready. So, oh, I guess I gotta do the needles. There's not much to cleaning these needles. It's just make them look pretty. And make sure the tips of the needles are all right. Which that one's good. And that one's got a bit of wear, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, back at her. So how did this go? I think we got that one first. And this guy. Then we need our little nylon ring for this. Then the biggest flat screwdriver you could find. And snug that down. So the float, I guess we want our needle too. So this goes on here, and the needle goes into there. The height should already be set, but we'll double check it. And this pin goes across the two. And yeah, that looks okay. Now, once it's all together, there's a test you can do to make sure you got the float right, or that it's set, it's seating properly. Okay, next we'll put on our bowl and gasket. I have confidence in this gasket, so we will stay with it. I believe it goes on that way. Kind of spatially challenged there for a sec. Okay, here we go. So these screws, I just like to run them down until they're just not even snug, just so they make contact with the top or with the bowl. And then cross tighten pattern. Not trying to impress the carburetor with how strong you are, just get them down nice and snug and they won't go anywhere. This one, this one. And then I think I got them all down, and just make sure they're all remain tight. Because when you compress the rubber, sometimes it makes the screws come a little loose. So it's best to do one more time around, just to make sure everything is like how you left it. Yeah, so that's good. Okay, this plug's got to go back, and it goes back right here. And now we put in our needles. So the high-speed needle is the pointy one. And the way I do this is there's your nylon bits, and that acts as a bearing surface. And then you have your packing nuts, they call them. And I understand you stack 3 of these on the needle and then run this down. You have to pick at this together, make sure you catch the first few threads, so you gotta really force that in. Okay, come on now, compress. I definitely got threads there now. Okay, here we go. And now that that's on, once I get it on the engine, I can properly get it all tightened down once I got the knobs working there for me. The high-speed needle is much of the same. Bearing surface, corked bits and bobs. Okay, I think we're ready to go back on the engine. Gonna hit the linkage here with some WD. No, I'm gonna call it for tonight. And we'll do is we'll resume again tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have the impeller. We'll put it all back together. Well, that's a great shot of a lower unit, if you ask me. So we are in a place we've all been before. We'll start with this. Oh. So these two screws come off. We'll drop some parts on the floor. And look at what we got. That bolt's not on all the way. But it's coming off, so I think that's a 7/16. Or is it? Yeah, it's 7/16. It's gotta be. Yeah. So if I drop this, not a big deal. If you're dropping it while you're putting it back in, bigger deal. Okay, that shift shaft wasn't even properly seated in there, which is fine. So I got the shift shaft disconnected. Now we're gonna, these bolts here, 7/16 as well, and they're barely hanging on, which is fine. Maybe it's indicative of shenanigans, but and we're missing one too. I have a feeling I could procure more if I wanted. The last one is this guy here. That one. And that's a 9/16. I can see it separating. I have a feeling this will be too much of a struggle. It just falls out. Okay, so our splines look good. There's not much hammering on those, which is always good. The water tube looks good. Can you see that? Right there. Pointy end down, which is what you want. The shift shaft looks good. All the hardware appears to be there, so we're moving this over to the bench again. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with here. Okay, so first I'm looking this. I doubt that was pumping water very well, like that. That's just mushed in there, so maybe that's why the head was off, because it wasn't getting water. He was checking to see if anything catastrophically died, which wasn't the case. So I think I have a spare one of those, but what I'm going to do right now is just put it on the water tube just so it gets a bit of memory back, and it should slip in there fine. But I think I got another one to replace that. Yeah, I got a whole other housing. We'll see which is the best, and they're the exact same part, so that's good. Anywho, I found a prop while I was in there too. Didn't have a prop. Now we got a prop. It's not splined, which is good. I don't know. What's that? 9x10 for pitch. We'll see how it goes. Just solving problems. Okay, let's take this off. What do we think? Broken or not broken? I don't know. We shall see. Is the pin in there? There's no impeller in there. So there's no impeller. That means there's no little pin in there either. Which housing looks better? They both look the same. one flatter than the other. Nah. I'm putting this guy on, the one from my spare, just because it's already got the grommet on it. So, into the parts bin with that guy. And then this plate looks fine. So, keep that. All right, let's check out the oil on this guy. Wonder how much oil or water we're gonna find in here. Wouldn't be surprised if we have found none. If there's no. Okay, we need the nylon deal for that. And for this, do we have oil? We do, and hey, there's not water in there. I guess we'll compression test it and check for any leaks. Is there a nylon deal in there? No. This guy, like, he pulled it out. It's not like he was trying to fleece me and put freshish oil in there. That oil wasn't fresh, and I don't know, maybe they did the lower end and realized it needed an impeller as well, and then stopped there and just slapped it all together, because it was put back together hastily. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was working on it, then just kind of, you know how life is. Okay, it's a couple days later, and I got my impeller. It's some offshore brand. It was $17. Anyway, so what we have to do now is we need to find a pin that will be suitable for this hole right here. It should be stainless. All right, I'm gonna go look for something. Okay, I found something. I don't know what this, there we go. I don't know what this came from, but it fits. It's not ferrous, so it won't rust out on me. And there we go. Okay. So with our impeller in, we take this housing and give a smear of grease on there. This goes on, and then as I push down on this, I'm going to turn it clockwise. Clockwise, right? Yeah, clockwise. And that seats, and when I say turn it, I mean the drive shaft. And that will seat our impeller. Just like that. Now we're lining up our holes. There we go. That is real. Okay, so the lower unit, more or less ready. I just realized an O-ring didn't come off with the drive shaft. Do I have something? The old parts engine. Always good for something. So, this is what I was looking for. That guy right there. O-ring. Love it. Okay, so now we're ready to put this back on. So I recall we were missing a bolt when all this went together. So I'll have to add another one. Here you go. It's everything up here. Okay, so that'll be enough to keep this from wandering on us when we go to set that shift shaft. Which I like to use needle nose. Ideally some crooked kind of needle nose. So what I do is I put it in forward. I clamp it here with these, put it in gear, and there you go. So 7/16. Get it started. Okay, it's in. Now just tighten it down. All right, cool. Now let's check that our shifter works. Well, I guess while we're here, we'll put on the prop. So I bought 10 of those guys before. There's my part number right there. And there's nothing to this. It's, you slide your pin on. I like to do it while it's horizontal, like that. Prop goes on. Nose cone. Nose cone, whatever they call it. And you're not trying to put this on as tight as we can imagine. You're just getting it snug and then you back it off. Okay, there's my holes, so I can see through. What you want to do is make sure that your pin is stainless. A good way to check that is to see if it is magnetized. If it's not magnetic and it doesn't feel as light as aluminum, a good chance your cotter pin is stainless. I don't want to use that one. I'll get something thicker. Okay, props on. So the lower unit is back. Let's just make sure it shifts well. So put it in gear, forward, returning, neutral. We are not turning, reverse, we're turning the other way. So I would assume that this thing is shifting as it should. Okay. Carbs. Oh, I guess let's include it all. Should probably bolt on a lower unit too. Okay, there's one more bolt to find. I found an OEM cotter pin for it, which is superior. That's good, but this thickness is better. There we go. It's not going anywhere. Awesome. Okay. With the lower end installed, we can move on. I guess we can do the fuel lines. So this thing's got a conversion bit on it to take it from a pressurized tank to a regular tank. So I'm gonna line those guys up to the fuel line I have, and we'll hook those hoses up. Okay, I gotta get better fuel line for the intake side of it all, but I tested the fuel pump and it seems to be working. So we can put the carb on with the requisite hose. And when we go to test run it, we'll just hook up our external vinegar bottle tank and that should be sufficient. First, let's hook up our line. I think it runs like this. And up behind this guy to there. Beautiful. Okay. Let's bolt that on. You forget this. We get to it.
Use that for at the same time. Pretty close. Just go on show. Once you get started, and we'll show. Finish. Close up snug. You can see that. The same thing.
Okay, carbs on, fuel lines on. I'm just going to zip tie them down. Oh yeah, all day long. One zip tie there. Then we take our knife and cut them flush, because we don't want the lucky guy who gets this off me to become unlucky by slicing his hand open on a zip tie. No one needs or wants that. There. Get a little test, see if there's any pokey edges in there, and we're good. Okay, now we're putting the covers back on. Oh, let's get this pin in. Okay. Okay, that's good. Let's look at that butterfly. So I should see, we see this mark here. Yeah, you can see it. Right here, there's a mark. We're looking here to see that move when this mark passes the roller. So let's see. Okay, we're ramping up. Okay, I just saw it move. It looks a little delayed. Yeah, it's a little behind. So there's a bolt under here. You loosen that off, and that allows you to pry the swash plate out a bit, and that should give us the throttle action we need. So we'll do that right now. This one right here. Okay, it's loosened. Now we're looking for that mark to move. Okay, I just moved it a hair. So here's the mark, and we're looking at this arm here. Okay, we're a little low, we're a little too much. Just fist bumping it in. Try again. So what I do is I just look at the arm, and as soon as I see it move, it just moved. We're a little bit closer. It needs to come out just out. No, it needs to go in just a little bit more. I'm looking. It just moved in just a hair, but now we're just taking fly shit out of pepper. Okay, it just moved. Okay, we're we're pretty much bang on. Okay, I gotta tighten that guy up again. You saw how to loosen it, so take that footage, rewind it, and that's how you tighten it. And as you do whenever you tighten down adjusters, you want to recheck that it's where you left it. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, now we could put this all the accoutrements back on. Okay, when I was tightening up the high-speed jet, it was giving me trouble. I looked at the diagram for this specific carb, and it doesn't show any nylon nut for bearing surface. There essentially just wasn't enough room to get this threaded on with 3 packing washers and the nylon nut. So as per the diagram, I'm just going to go with 2 packing washers and no nylon nut, and I have a feeling that that will be sufficient. I just couldn't get it to tighten down. So we'll put that on, drive that home, and this should thread on just fine now and give us the tension we need to actually bottom this out. So let's try that. The idea is we want to get this seated because I couldn't get it to, it didn't feel like it was bottoming out before. But now I think we can get there. These screws are really clever. Essentially, they drive a wedge into the end of the needle there, and then it gives like a friction fit. Oh yeah, okay, it's bottoming out proper now. So from bottomed out, we go 2 turns. So that's half, 1, oh no, I said 1.5. 1.5. Then we'll tighten this guy up so it's nice and snug. And that should do. So 1.5. And then it looks like it points down. Oh, well, this will have to come off for the faceplate, but yeah. So that one's set for testing. And we'll do the same to the bottom. Let's take out that nylon guy. No, that one should be good. There's a lot of threads there. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. We are going to tighten this one down till it reaches the bottom end of the, so it bottoms out, and then we're going to go back 1 turn. Might have already been there. It looks like there's the bottom right. There, okay, so half, 1, and that should be close. Yeah, okay. That's awesome. Now we can put on the air box and put the air box back on, and the faceplate. So the choke lever. Install. We put this very hefty rubber on it. Okay. Now let's try this hard candy shell. Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. So the shell compresses that spring, and now I can adjust it properly, it would seem. probably the same for this one. Yeah. So I probably got them mixed up. The longer of the two was hitting the choke. And the high speed. Okay. All right. Look at this beauty. So I'm gonna hook it up to the hose. Let's see if it wants to run. Okay, we're all set up on the hose. I got the Contabulous Fab Traction set up. I don't have any muffs. My provisional gas tank. Last check, the fuel pump still works good. So let's see if this guy wants to start. it idling high for now. Probably hasn't been ran in like a million years. But it's pumping water well. Can I idle it low enough to ship? That's a gear. There's reverse. Oh, wait. You gotta love that. Run this tank out of gas, and then I think the next time we'll see this guy will be on the water. I think that's just amazing. Love it. Absolutely love it. And the kill works. Well, I think pending the test on the boat, I think we can call this one a success. And the price was right at $100. Like virtually no money spent on parts except impeller and spark plugs and fuel lines. Awesome. All right, next you'll see this probably under a pressure washer. I'll get some fuel hose and put it on a boat. Love it. Okay, a quick hose down with some degreaser. And pressure wash. and we'll get after the cowling next, or under the cowling next. Okay, I'm excited about this. Well, the difference is very significant. Let me throw this back. First of all, it doesn't smell like sadness anymore. And now it looks like an engine that's been reasonably well taken care of. I'm gonna get this hood off, let it dry out, and yeah, I think we'll be on the water next. You don't need to see me put fuel hoses on it. But yeah, yeah, degreaser, water. It's like Simple Green or some knockoff of it, so that makes it look a lot nicer. All right. Okay, so after running this on the hose, I cracked the bottom drain plug there to see how the oil was looking, and it looks like this. That's it's not ideal. It's been emulsified with water, so if it can't even handle being run on the hose, doubtful it'll handle being in the water without taking on water itself. So we're gonna have to get the seals. So I'm gonna pull this lower unit apart, and we'll put this on the bench and throw some seals at it. Okay, we are off the engine. Now we're gonna pull this guy apart. As you can see, there's a lot of oil on there. Probably came up through the shift shaft or the drive shaft seal. So we'll get at those, but first we'll take off this impeller housing. Something I did off camera is the pin that was on the impeller. I put that non-ferrous bit in it. I didn't know if it was stainless or not, so I ordered some stainless steel rod. It's 1/8, and I just cut that and made a pin. So that way I know it won't rot. Like if it was like aluminum or something that I had in it before, that wouldn't be good for anyone. It would probably just shear off. So that wouldn't happen. It's better to know what you got. So stainless steel for the win in this instance. So it's just a little bit. That comes off. And yeah, that's probably hooped. Now we'll come at it from the other way. Does that come off first? Yes, it does. Okay. Drive shaft is off. And it doesn't look Very good. More drive shaft woes, just like the Esca. But we'll take a look. Let's get in here. Not that tough. Oh yeah, you got this screw here. It's a Phillips. And someone has really gone to work on that screw. Nope, I don't want to strip it. Yeah, that is not our finest screw. All right, I got a Phillips head on the impact. See if this wants to turn it out. Turn. Yes. So we're back in business. After that bit of unpleasantness, we can continue. So I got to take this Skeg and company off because to get the shift shaft seal, I got to hit it from the other side. And I guess to pull the shift shaft out, I got to take this off too. So it all comes apart. There. Let's see here. The gears look okay. There is some rubbing on the pawl here. And that pin's still there, which is a win. So this Skeg's in good shape. That's good to see. Everything turns as it should. Let's get to work on these seals here. Yeah, that's a wrench right there. I have the seals I need. So let's get into that. So this seal, the way I get it out is I just grab a wrench and pry. It comes out pretty easy. There we go. So there's one. And this guy is often challenging. So this involves a tap. So let's get to that. Let's find a tap. Okay, I got a 5/16 by 18 pitch tap for the bushing, and I got a bolt. We'll use that later. And we're gonna tap this guy down. So we'll start. There's probably enough oil in there, but we can always add some more. And I like to use this T-handle. Helps you get down a little bit deeper, because the regular old handles that come with this don't let you get down, because it's a bit of a reach for the tap. So it's brass, so it's really easy to cut. Try and get it as straight as you can. Put on some pressure and you'll feel the threads cutting. Okay, I made it through. So I got new threads. Take a bolt. In this case, I have a 1/2-inch socket. Make sure you get a lot of threads. And then we are going to pound it out. Anyway, take your punch. And you'll see me hammer it out, and then it will drop to the floor. All right, using the same thing, but with an old ratchet extension on top of it. You hear that? That is the sound of victory. There's the bushing we took out, and then that will give us access to the seal, which is just a big thick O-ring. I won't even say it's big, but it's an O-ring. That's it. Away with E. Okay, I managed to wrest the bolt from there. So when you put this back, you'll see there's a chamfer on one end, and that end will go down like that. And we have our seal bushing, or sorry, the seal proper. Just giving that a hit of brake cleaner. Let that dry off, and let's get this seal in. So the old seal was a big old thick seal. This one is much thinner. If you stack two of them, it's the same thickness, and I want to put two of them stacked doubly. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'd like to stack them opposing, but I don't want to ruin the seals in doing so. So I'm going to stack them both sticking up, and that should be fine. It's a shame, this looked like a really good quality seal, and now you got these ones that don't appear as robust, but what do you do? So I'm just taking a socket, using that to drive it in. bottomed out. Now let's get the next one. And let's do our shift shaft seal. I'm gonna let that dry off first. I don't want the brake cleaner messing with the rubber. All right, it's nice and dry now. And I hit it with some fluid film just to let everything slide around better. This is a tight squeeze. If it feels big going in, it's because it's designed like that. Make sure you get that to the bottom. And next, remember, chamfered edge down. There's a ledge that this will sit on, so you don't have to worry about flattening the O-ring too much. You'll hit a ledge and then you'll hit the bottom for that chamfered bit or for the bushing. Oh, sorry, floor. So with that, we can start cleaning up these surfaces to reassemble. The prop seal, I think, is good. And if it's not, we'll replace it, but I think the prop seal is good. I guess first we'll do the surfaces. We lucked out on this one in that it's pretty much all clean. Minimal scraping. Hey, so my dad's a diesel mechanic. He said a pro tip is you want to scuff up these surfaces a little bit. He likes 80 grit. You don't want to hang around too long, but if you give it a bit of a scuff, it'll help with the adhesion of the gasket material or compound you put on this. So there, that's one. Move on to the skeg. We keep our spaghetti seal. Let's clean out all this guck. Seeing how flattened out that spaghetti seal was, I'm starting to think maybe that the prop shaft, like carrier, probably had, it doesn't look like it though, an O-ring that's just really flattened out. I've never worked on a Johnson this old. I think the earliest I've done was like 62. And I can notice little differences between the... And I know there are differences other than the awesome looking cowling. But I don't know precisely all of them. Yeah, I'm gonna pick this away. The bee attack. Okay. Now those are the same. So this guy can go back on. And now let's go to our spaghetti seal. We have our gasket maker. We're getting dangerously low, but I think we'll have enough. Because you put a thin film, and that's all you need. All right, we'll play with that after we get the other side. Our carrier group. We are going to put this stuff on it too. And let's get this. And now we got to make sure we line up that pin with this hole here. So you can see it was misaligned before. You want to get it in that hole. You should feel it just drop in. So let's do that. And then you got another locator pin here. So that's one. That's two. Okay, you don't want to forget this guy. Which goes like that. Now that feels great. We can begin messing around with our spaghetti seals again. And bolt her all back together. The oh dear God, would have had a hard time going anywhere without this. Put that where it's got to go. Okay, now we'll do this again.
Oh, let me see if that's my fault. I should help try to get together. Okay. Well, that's what I did. Okay, so I'm down. I'm starting I have to real number right now. I'm starting I'm working my way out in the cross hatches pattern. And just it. I'm going to the
Then just go once around just to make sure it's all even. There's a side screw here, which can be painful, but that's not too bad. There's a little O-ring that comes with it. You want to make sure you have something to seal it up. And I'm going to use a combination of O-rings and goo. And the trick to this is making sure you hit the shift shaft pivot point. Yeah, we'll do this. So you see there's where we're going here. You got to line up the shifter so you can get the pin through there, and then you tighten in your screw. Takes a bit of fiddling sometimes, but just be cognizant of that, or you won't be shifting very much or at all. That's looking good. Our pin is in. The O-ring's annihilated, but I'm sure the threads are doing just fine. Now let's get the drive shaft in. Kind of missed the camera on that. Too overzealous with my close-ups.
Okay, this way. Yep.
And that is how we do those seals on this outboard. Oh, and lastly, we can't forget the O-ring that goes on top of the drive shaft. There. I'm gonna put it all back together. And next we'll see you on the water. Okay, I made it out on the water with this guy. So I had it running on the hose. Let's see how it does on the water. I haven't tuned the carb yet. I'm running a 24-to-1 mix.
started. You can see there it's pumping water well. It's idling nice. So it's not the fastest whip on the lake. Okay.
Looks like it's running.
I'm gonna try it with the cover on. Okay, wrestled the cover on. Not quite enough to get this boat on plane, but I'm way underpowered. Well, call that one a win. I gotta dock this boat. So that'll be it for this engine. That's the SXXS. I gotta check the lower unit to make sure it didn't take on water, but I don't think it did. It sealed up pretty good. All right. Yeah. Thanks for watching.